Madam Chair and members, on behalf of Senator Hoffman, I'm presenting his proposal to increase the penalties for impersonating a peace officer. As I'm sure you all know, the shooter, the killer in the legislative shootings earlier this summer was wearing a very lifelike mask that obscured his identity and was outfitted in a police uniform and was driving a vehicle that was a typical standard issue SUV that is used by many law enforcement agencies and actually had license plates that had been printed that said police on them. In other words, his modus operandi was to appear to be a legitimate peace officer approaching the doors of the Hartman family and the Hoffman family and intending to have approached other doors as well. So Senator Hoffman took a look back at the statutes that already make it illegal to impersonate a peace officer and is proposing increased penalties for that. 609.4751 was formerly a misdemeanor for a person who intended to mislead another into believing that the impersonator is actually an officer, and it bumps up the penalty from the misdemeanor to a felony, a 2-year felony, so it's the maximum penalty, just the act of trying to mislead someone else into thinking they're a real police officer. For those who do so and commit crimes which are already in statute, gaining access to a public building or directing another person to act or refrain from acting, operating a motor vehicle that's marked with the words police and similar language, or otherwise trying to imitate a peace officer's vehicle, that penalty would increase from a gross misdemeanor to a felony, and it would be a 5-year felony. And then the proposal is to increase the penalty for repeat offenses within 5 years of each other from a 2-year felony to a 10-year felony, with also concomitant increases in the fines that would be associated as maximums following a conviction and for sentencing. So obviously the intent is to utilize these increased penalties as a deterrent, so people will understand that there's more serious consequences if they try to do this, and secondly, if in fact they commit those offenses, to make it possible for a judge to sentence them to longer terms, or actually terms in prison and then longer terms in prison as well. So there's an article that has been distributed, I believe, or is going to be distributed to members here from the Star Tribune relating to 2 instances in which a person committed offenses while impersonating an officer. One includes the shooter of the Hortmans and the Hoffmans, but also includes a different case as well. So I'm happy to answer any questions, but this, I expect, will be part of a package brought forward for consideration before the legislature.
Thank you, Chair Latz. Is there anyone that wants to come and give a testimony from the public audience? No? Senator Howe?
Thank you, Madam Chair. And Senator Latz, I just, as I look at this, I just got a question for you, because I often act as still carry a badge that has fire marshal on it, and I many times do carry. I just want to make sure we make some allowance for those of us that are in that capacity, that there's some allowance for those of us that are in an official capacity that would not end up violating this law. If you can, we can work on that another time, but that's my concern.
Senator Latz?
Madam Chair, Senator Howe, the statute requires that the impersonation be false. So if you are in fact legitimately a fire marshal, you would not run afoul of this law.
Thank you. Members, any other questions? All right.
Thank you.